I'm going to take you through a little passing sequence we can practice at home either with ourselves or with a partner just to help us with our wide spin passing. So our first part is understanding how we generate spin through the ball. So I'm going to start with my hips square to my target, my dominant hand, so my strong passing hand at the bottom of the ball, about a third of the way up, and my assisting hand about halfway up. From here, I'm focusing on pushing the ball to my target in front of me, but more importantly, I'm dialing into how I generate the spin. So you're just going to spend 30 seconds with your strong hand sending that ball to the target. But I don't want you to just pass the ball. I want you to tune into those cues that you often take for granted from your strong hand that generate spin. So, for example, I know that if I keep my pointer finger on the ball for a long time, and at the last second snap it to my palm, that's how I generate a good spin off my strong hand. After your first 30 seconds off your right hand or your strong hand, tuning into what helps you to generate spin, we need to be able to replicate that on our left hand or our weaker hand. So I'm trying to keep my fingers on the ball for a long time and snap that pointer finger at the last second. Now, for every 2 I do on my weak hand, I'm just going to go back to 1 on my strong hand just to check those coaching points. Am I successfully replicating off my weak hand what I take for granted off my strong hand? And remember, follow through to that target. Be intentful about pushing the ball where you want it to go. Now we understand how to control and generate the spin. It's really important that we understand how to generate power. Now what we often see is a lot of power wasted in spinning the ball, and actually 95% of our power and the push of the spin pass wants to come from that back shoulder, back hip, with the spin from our fingers just the cherry on top. So from our square on position, we change to 90 degrees. We have that ball loaded on the front hip, and from here I'm trying to push to the target, getting my back shoulder through. Now it's really important that we don't just pass. We've got to be really mindful and meaningful of sending the ball to the target. And by being really deliberate, all those small little micro adjustments that our body will make to send the ball to the target can happen. Now, part number 3, after loading on the front hip, is loading to the back hip. Now I can really start to generate some power from the hip and the chest coming through. Same thing, being meaningful in sending the ball where I want it to go, not just hoping that it reaches the target. Now that we've worked on generating the spin from the finger and the power from the back shoulder and the back hip, we've got to incorporate those things on the move. So before I'm passing, it's really important that I keep my hips relatively square. I engage my core, and that's just going to bring my chest forward slightly. By just dropping that chest, it means my body is going forwards, but it also means I'm not going to stand up and pull the pass away, but that my body can rotate and push power through the ball. From here, I'm going to get my hands set up. When I'm ready, I'm going to start walking, eyes on target, punch through and finish the pass. Now it's really important that we incorporate all those things that we practiced on our static passing. 95% of the power coming from the back shoulder and the back hip, and then that spin is the cherry on top. But most of all, it's really important that I'm meaningful about sending the ball where I want it to go, not just hoping it hits the target. So core tight, slight forward lean. When I'm ready, ball on back hip, on the move, punch to target and finish. Walk back, reset, ball on back foot, chest slightly forward, on the move, sight the target and punch. And I can do that for a certain number of passes or a certain amount of time per hand.